You're alone in a room. The walls are bare. The lights are buzzing overhead. And in front of you, on a small metal table, is a red button. A voice comes through the intercom. Calm. Robotic. If you press this button, you will receive $1 million, tax-free, in unmarked bills, immediately. No one will ever know. You stare. The voice continues. But when you press the button, someone, somewhere in the world, someone you do not know, will die. You ask, who? It doesn't matter. You'll never meet them. You'll never see their face. They could be halfway around the world, or next door. You'll never find out. You'll never be caught. One press, one death. 1 million. So, do you press it? Think carefully. Because while this sounds like a riddle, it's not just a story. It's a test, a real one. And most people fail. Humans like to think we're moral creatures, that we wouldn't hurt someone unless absolutely necessary. But under the right conditions, if the reward is high enough, or the consequences invisible, we become monsters in slow motion. This dilemma, sometimes called the button problem, has haunted philosophers, psychologists, and storytellers for decades. In 1970, author Richard Matheson published a short story titled Button, Button, where a couple is offered this exact deal. The story ends badly. In 2009, the movie The Box brought the dilemma to the big screen. And while the film is fiction, the psychology behind it is terrifyingly real. Because studies have shown, time and again, that people will do horrible things, so long as someone else takes the blame. Let's go back to 1961, Yale University. Psychologist Stanley Milgram wanted to understand how ordinary people could commit atrocities, like those seen in the Holocaust, just by following orders. So he designed an experiment. Participants were told to administer electric shocks to a learner in another room whenever they answered a question incorrectly. The shocks weren't real, but the participants didn't know that. As the voltage increased, the learner began to scream, to beg, to go silent. And still, 65% of people went all the way. They pushed the final switch, 450 volts, because a man in a lab coat told them it was okay. They pressed the button. But this isn't just about obedience. This is about what happens when we make choices without seeing the cost. The button problem thrives on emotional distance. It's easy to hurt someone you can't see. Psychologists call this the empathy gap. In a study by researchers at the University of Chicago, participants were more willing to inflict pain when the consequences were described abstractly. But when they saw the person suffer in real time, even if it was a stranger, they stopped. Out of sight, out of soul. But let's make it personal. Imagine this. You're drowning in debt. Your mom needs surgery. You've lost your job. The button appears. One press. 1 million. No risk. No trace. The stranger dies. Do you still say no? Because in real life, this button appears in less obvious forms. Every time we buy cheap clothing made in sweatshops, we're pressing it. Every time we scroll past a headline about famine or war and do nothing, we're pressing it. When we choose convenience over consequence, comfort over conscience, we're pressing the button, again and again. We just don't see it, and that's the trick. The philosopher Peter Singer posed a simple version of this question in the 1970s. You're walking past a shallow pond. You see a child drowning. You can save them, but your expensive shoes will be ruined. Do you save them? Everyone says yes, of course. But Singer flips it. Every day, children are dying in preventable ways. Lack of clean water, medicine, food, and we don't save them. Even when it would only cost us the price of a pair of shoes. So, how different is it, really? Maybe you're still saying, I'd never press the button. Okay, Let's raise the stakes. You're told that someone else will press the button if you don't. But if you press it, you can choose how the person dies. Quick, painless, instant. Otherwise, it'll be slow, agonizing. Do you press it now? What if pressing the button doesn't kill someone, but causes them to suffer? Lose their memory? Be wrongly imprisoned? What if it's someone on death row? What if it's someone who's dying anyway? What if it's someone who once hurt others? Does your answer change? That's the power of a dilemma like this. It exposes our values, not just what we believe, but what we're willing to do. The button isn't real, but the choice is. Every day, we're faced with invisible consequences. We spend, scroll, and survive in a world where someone else often pays the price. The question isn't, would you press the button? It's, how many times have you already pressed it? And if you knew, really knew, who was on the other side, would you press it again? If this made you think, share it with someone else. Drop your answer in the comments. Would you press the button? Why or why not? And subscribe, if you dare, to explore more riddles of the human mind.